This episode, I'm going to be going over test playing, my suggested method to do so, and a tool that I'm sure will help you in that subject. Let's go ahead and get started. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament scene has never been stronger, with the recent Shonen Jump event attracting over 1,350 players, making it the largest collectible card game tournament in North America to date. It's safe to say that competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Has never been as popular as it is right now. Many players strive to ascend from their kitchen room tables and local tournament scene to a featured match with a championship on the line. But with the competition as stiff as it is, it's a task easier said than done. So difficult that some players resort to net decking the most successful deck to bring to a high-level event, despite the negative social stigma that it carries. However, time and time again, we see many familiar faces with impressive showing at tournaments, while the dozens of other players piloting the exact same deck scrubbing out. The difference between them, personally, I think, is their playtesting habits. The reason I feel this way is because by the time a deck becomes popular, it's only a short time thereafter that almost everyone learns how the deck works. Most regular tournament goers have a good understanding of the rules, and their skill level is adequate enough. Yet when two players pilot the same deck, one can take it all the way to the final round while the other just does horrible with it. It should come to no surprise when more than one member of the same team makes a top 16 cut using similar decks. This is because their playtesting methods are similar. Getting to a point where one is content with the ratios of the build, they learn the proper matchups that they're going to fight, and they have a good side deck for the event takes some time, and that's a comfort level you don't get by just picking up a deck without proper playtesting. Even if you net deck the best deck, mark my words, there is no substitute for playtesting. If you have a bunch of friends that you play with, I suggest running a gauntlet during your playtesting sessions. No, not that kind of gauntlet. A gauntlet is a series of matchups one after another. During a gauntlet, I like to create all of the top tier decks of the current meta. Once my friends and I have created all the best decks, I play against each of them one by one over and over again in a tournament-like session. During the games, I determine what my good and bad matchups are, and if there are any decks that I just couldn't beat between my main deck and my side deck, then it's time to go back to the drawing board. Running the gauntlet over and over again will give you great insight on the potential of your deck, but it can be pretty time consuming doing it, over and over again like that. So, there's no substitute to face-to-face interaction, but to save time, I'd recommend using a site like Trade Cards Online. Trade Cards is actually a site that was recommended to me by one of my subscribers, and the reason I recommend it to you guys is because creating the most popular decks, or the top tier decks for running your gauntlet, is really easy on the site. Also, because you don't have to be physically in front of your opponent, you can cram in a lot of duels in a relatively short amount of time. And when your teammates aren't available to test with you, you can play with one of the hundreds of players that are always on the site playing. Another cool feature is the fact that any deck that isn't private is available to be picked up and used in a game right away. This is an awesome way to test the waters if you're not really sure what deck you might want to play for a format. So, you can just pick it up, play with it, see if you like it, and if it strikes your fancy, then you can touch it up with your own personal tech and build your own version of it. Trust me, sometimes using someone else's deck can open your eyes to combos and interactions you didn't see before, or combos that maybe you were aware of, but you didn't really realize that they were as effective as they actually are. Competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Is at the height of its popularity, and it doesn't show any sign of slowdown. Leave a comment below if you have run gauntlets before, and the success that you've had with them, or suggest your own method of playtesting. If you haven't tried running a gauntlet before, give it a shot a few times with your friends and see if it leads to any improvement. I'm pretty sure it will. And when your friends aren't available, check out Trade Cards Online to play a few games. I'm usually on there pretty often, mainly because I can use it without downloading anything, like use the site. Now if someone would only put imagination on that site. Well, this has been Duel School with Fitzroy. I'm Fitzroy, and you guys just got schooled.